How's it going, guys? I'm going to go over 5 tips that will help you save money while owning a Land Rover. Right now I own a 2006 LR3, 2008 Range Rover Sport, and 96 Discovery 1. So most of my experience or advice will be geared toward these generations. But can still apply these tips to newer or older models or even non-Land Rover vehicles. There's probably going to be a couple people on here thinking, oh man, this guy is so cheap. And they're right, I am, just a little bit. But jokes aside, if you really just enjoy these vehicles for the same reasons everyone else does, then why not look into how you can save a bit of money while owning them, right? Now, general rule with Land Rovers is expect to put a good amount of money into them for repairs and maintenance. Like most cars, you'll most likely be buying one used, and you just never know what issues it's had or what can come up. So don't be surprised if you have like a costly repair or repair quote within a week or even 2 years late. You know, it's gonna come up. Anyways, here is tip number 1: coil conversion kits. A lot of Land Rover enthusiasts will say, no, don't do this, that's what makes it a Land Rover, it's a major feature. And their points are valid, but if you're like me and you won't be doing any major off-roading and don't want to deal with some of the risks and hassles associated with air suspension, then coil conversions are the way to go. Most will range between $500 to $1,000, and you can install these yourself, or if you're lucky, you can find a shop that will install it for you. In my opinion, the long-term benefits are undeniable. If you're just driving around town, you'll never have to worry about your suspension lowering itself to access height while driving, which is what happened to me. I was driving with my wife and our baby, and it lowered itself and it got super bumpy. Luckily we were just maybe a few hundred feet away from our destination, and I got to reset the suspension once we got there. All right, anyways, tip number 2: key cutting and programming. If you go to a Land Rover dealership, a new fob can cost between $500 and $700, which is pretty crazy, but I guess that's expected, and that's what I was quoted for this Range Rover Sport. So instead, what I did was I bought a blank key with a motherboard so it could be programmed, and I got that off of Amazon for like, I think $26, and it's this one right here. Let me see. It's not Land Rover branded, but it's got the motherboard in there, and it works. Yeah, it works. The other original key was falling apart, and then the button stopped working, and the batteries are soldered on, so it's almost like you have to get a new fob, or you could go to someone to get a new battery resoldered on, but I didn't really want to deal with that. But yeah, I had it, got it off Amazon, had it cut at a locksmith, and then programmed with a shop that I go to in Aurora. In total, I think it cost me less than $200, and it could be less if you have your own tool to program the keys. But yeah, definitely saved a good amount of money there, and I'll probably get just another, like this is, I guess, the spare key. The main key is just sitting at home in a drawer, but I'll probably make another one just to make sure I have 2 keys that are good to go. All right, now tip number 3, tires. This is something I dare not skimp on, but I'm going to anyways. Again, since I don't do any off-roading with this vehicle, I just need tires that are good enough to handle snow. I've taken the risk of experimenting with lower end tires or obscure brands, and I think everyone has, because, you know, they're just trying to save money. But honestly, I think that with the advancement of just technology and engineering in general in the automotive industry, you can find some pretty decent, inexpensive tires. The 2 brands that I've tried and I've been fine with using are Vercelli and Otsu. I might be mispronouncing both of those. I used Otsu for a Nissan 350Z that did great, and I've used Vercelli on a Mercedes C-Class, and now I have Vercelli's on the Range Rover Sport. the LR3 that we have came with BFG KO2s, which are pricey, but they came with the LR3. They feel great both on and off the road. If you have the money, definitely go for it. They are pretty phenomenal. The LR3 has a suspension conversion too, and I think having those tires, I mean, they're larger than stock, so I think it just helps soften up bumps and stuff like that when driving. But the LR3, I think it's, what is it, 275, 65, 18. So pretty big tire, but definitely makes the ride a lot more comfortable. I'm wondering if I'm thinking about getting larger tires for this one the next time around to see if it'll do the same thing, because the Range Rover Sport is a little more, I guess the coil conversion that I got on, it's a little more, feels a little more rigid. So I'm wondering if I just make the tire a little bit bigger, it'll help. But we'll see, and that'll be probably in about 2 years when these tires are done, maybe less. And then on the Discovery, I have the 96 Discovery. I just got some Cooper Discoverers, which are awesome. They're all-terrains as well, and that one I take up to the mountains. But I didn't spend more than $700 on those tires. I don't really like spending more than around like $700 or $800 for tires, including labor. So lately I've just been ordering tires off of Amazon and then having Discount Tire install them. Tip number 4, if you work on your own car, then you already do this, but you don't if you don't necessarily have the time to work on your car, but you have a shop that's willing to use your parts, then I'd highly suggest using Rock Auto. I've been getting parts from them for years and have never had any issues. I got a set of front and rear pads and rotors for the Discovery for $188 total. And the same thing for the LR3, it was about $220. But yeah, I mean, that's usually like what a shop will quote me for just the front. And then, you know, I gotta pay labor and all that stuff. So I used to have more time to work on my cars, but lately just been really busy. So I go to a shop called British 4x4 in Aurora. Shout out to Brian. There's a few Land Rover shops in Colorado, but this shop has been really, really great for me in just helping me take care of issues and giving me good advice on owning these. For oil changes, I do just go to Brakes Plus because they're about 5 minutes away from where I live. And they always do a great job. They will use your oil and oil filter, but I would always just call ahead just to make sure that that's the case, because sometimes the owners are just different about that. But yeah, Rock Auto is very inexpensive. Oil filters and air filters are seriously so cheap, like $3-4 for an oil filter. Air filters are like $10, maybe less, $6 even. You can get wiper blades also, and really just any regular maintenance part or fluid for very cheap. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. Other sites to check out for parts are Atlantic British and Rover Parts. If you want some cosmetic parts, I would go for Powerful UK. I've gotten some grills and door handle covers from them in the past, and they're also just really affordable. eBay can also be a great option. I just ordered a new turn signal lever for the LR3 because it's being all silly on us. When we turn left or right, when we signal left or right, the high beams go off. So that's fun for my wife when she's driving at night. And then so I got that for $60, and then I got a brake light wiring harness for the Range Rover Sport, because the socket for the main light is it's cracked, so the light bulb doesn't sit in there properly all the time, and I always got to take it apart and reposition it and then put it back, so that's kind of annoying. So I got that for $35 off of eBay. So yeah, you can definitely be saving a lot of money on parts if you work on your car, or you know, if you just take it to a shop that's willing to use your parts. Tip number 5, related to number 4, work on your own car. You can save loads of money by working on your own car. Shops charge a good amount for labor, and sometimes rightfully so, depending on what they're doing. But if you don't mind working on your own car and have the time, then I'd highly recommend doing that instead. You definitely have to invest in the proper equipment to work on your vehicle, but it will save you money in the long run compared to bringing it into a shop all the time. You can start off with oil changes, which are easy. You know, just get a funnel, oil filter wrench, socket wrench set, oil drain pan, and you're set. For brake and suspension stuff, you'll probably want to get some jack stands, a jack, and maybe a pair of ramps. But that equipment will take care of you for a long time. Again, if you have the time, I'd recommend it. It's just a good thing to know how to work on your car. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys for now. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching. It's been really awesome just seeing the channel grow a bit. I think I'm at 300 subscribers now, and it's weird thinking that people are subscribed to this channel. But it's cool, it's fun. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.